Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the final day of Week 7 of LCK Summer here. It is starting to be that LEC time where all of the games matter. But this first one, not so much. Hanwha Life, well and truly on the bottom of the standings.
Yeah.
And DAMWON, there is one thing, and you found this out earlier today and shared it with me. Let us know what we need to be watching out for when it comes to DAMWON.
Well, DWG, as you mentioned, today it should be pretty obvious that they should take the 2-0 the way they're playing. They were able to 2-0 DRX, so you would imagine they would 2-0 Hanwha Life. Well, if they 2-0 everybody from here on out, including two of the teams on the West that they have left, which is Gen.G and T1, if they can do that, they will break the 2015 SKT Summer record for best record, actually, in the LCK, which was plus 29.
Yeah.
Which I guess was 5 losses in games out of the whole season. So DWG are currently on 4. So if they could just clean sweep from here, they're going to beat the record. And that is pretty huge. I mean, it would be 5 years since that record was made. And to have it potentially be broken now after such a long time means it's a really crazy record to have.
That's pretty unbelievable. And remember, guys, that was the season that, this was Marin's SKT alongside Fakey, like this was a team that was unbeatable, then went along, of course, to win Worlds as well. So to be able to stand up against a record like that would be unbelievable, but we'll see whether Hanwha are going to be able to stand up alongside DAMWON and maybe knock them down a peg. Like, if they win one game, then that record's out the window, right? All they can do is tie. So maybe it's just about taking a little bit of a chip off of DWG here instead of actually taking them down. But DWG looked just so damn good. The bipolar momentum is definitely there, as it's been a long time since Hanwha have won a series.
Boy. Yes, definitely very true. We're kind of going opposite directions. And it is Dudu and Cad and Mirror today. All 3 rookies coming in. The new kids on the block. On the Rift, I guess. Shut down DWG's Beast Boys on the top side. I'm just going to refer to them to the Beast Boys from now on.
It actually sounds amazing. I was a big Beastie Boys fan, so I'm totally down with this.
Intense bottom combat incoming. I can't wait for the bottom combat atlas. That's going to be the thing I'm looking forward to.
Oh my god, we better refer. Every time we're in the bottom lane and there's a trade, it needs to be bottom combat. I need this in my life. You know what we don't need? We don't need Hanwha Live stats broadcasted at the moment. They are not doing so well. 9th, 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 10th. 10th, by the way, is the worst position because we have 10 teams. So bad news bears there, but first in every column is pretty good here for DWG.
Yeah, this is more so, I guess, highlighting DWG, and then unfortunately we have to show both teams at the same time, so we have to show Hanwha Life's stats there. And,
almost 6,000 gold ahead at 15 minutes, by the way.
They just dumpster everybody they face.
Oh my god.
Including DRX. Like, round 2, they might just straight up clean sweep, which would be insane if they just don't even drop a game.
I was actually worried about DRX yesterday because of how one-sided that series was. I thought maybe that said more about DRX than it did about DWG, but maybe I'm wrong, man. Maybe they're just an unbelievable team in extraordinary form at the moment. Because we have to remember, in spring, with no roster changes, like, DWG fell to DRX like 3-1 in the playoffs. Like, that happened.
Yeah.
And this was a DRX that didn't even look like it was in the same form that it is in the summer season. Just pretty amazing stuff. So let's have a look to see whether DWG can continue to impress as we move further forward. Lens versus Beryl is going to be our highlighted matchup here. Kill participation, not great here for Beryl, but that's because they get all their killing done very early in the game, and that's during a laning phase, and oftentimes, Beryl's not going to be able to get there. So you can forgive him for that one.
He is kind of all over the map at the same time. Like,
his duo proximity is just...
Yeah, that's the thing. And Lehen's kind of as well, because he has stopped playing as much Yuumi especially. They just don't really like their AD carries. They're like, well, we're going to affect every other lane. I remember the first game against DRX. It's like DRX, I think, got first blood. And then Beryl just ganked top lane, and we're like, oh, actually, maybe he's just going to control the early game by himself from the support role. It's pretty crazy what Beryl can do for his team, and he's definitely part of the reason. I remember he had this interview early on where he's like, I'm practicing every day. COVID, it just tells me I have to be indoors, so I'm only going to play League of Legends for every single waking moment, and all the practice is really paying off because he is just on fire right now. And, you know, it makes me question my unwavering
carrier partnership.
Yeah, carrier.
Well, you were watching yesterday, right? You saw Carrier's like unbelievable Alistair insect moment, which was against a Poppy, which makes it even more impressive. The thing that really scares me is that Beryl's probably the best Alistair player in the LCK.
Yeah.
At least based on, you know, what he was able to do at Worlds last year and when Alistair really was prevalent in the meta. So excited to see whether we're going to get Ghost's Kalista and Beryl's Alistair, because both of the, that combo for DRX didn't necessarily look as OP as it could be because the Poppy sort of ruined it. But it is extraordinarily strong, and they're two champions that this bottom lane does very much enjoy playing, at least historically. So very excited to see whether they're going to be pulling that one out. There's Showmaker on your screen right here. You were talking to me a little bit earlier on, seeing whether he was going to play some of his 4 fun champions. I personally wanted to play Katarina. You were suggesting some Kassadin. Hopefully he's just going to have a good time, you know?
I think we all want to see Katarina. I think, though, someone posted this on Twitter where he made an English list of why Katarina is bad.
Yeah, right.
So maybe he's kind of moved away from that, even though he is playing it in solo queue. Maybe in competitive play, he's just kind of shelved that one for now. But he has played Kassadin before, and it's pretty good against some of the meta mid laners that are out there right now. And it's definitely one of those things that you don't necessarily want to always bring out. So maybe he'll sprinkle a little bit of Kassadin in today and give us some fun. Maybe, you know, casually pick up another pentakill if he feels like it. That's just what Showmaker does.
Yep. See whether he can do that. Unfortunately, based on solo queue, he's not rank 1 anymore, only rank 2 at the moment. So just terrible, basically.
Wow.
His second account also, I think, fell to it's ranked 17.
I mean,
this is unacceptable.
Maybe we should just, I don't know, find a new mid laner?
I think maybe, DWG might need to look into a new mid laner.
Yeah.
So it's just, even Canyon's catching up to him. He's ranked 21. So yeah, just not good enough, really. Zephyr, you can see that's why he has a little bit of concern in his face right now. Because he's like, I don't know whether we can play without a rank 1 mid laner.
Yeah, might have to pick some safe champions for the mid lane
I think we might need to.
Like Showmaker's Galio, where he's like everywhere on the map.
Yeah.
He exists in multiple lanes at the same time.
And dimensions.
Yeah. Guy is literally insane.
He is pretty nutty. As here we go, into Champion Select for game number 1. Hanwha will be on the blue side. This is the only side DAMWON have lost games on, so as in being on red side.
Yeah.
The side that they've lost games on, so this is the best chance Hanwha have got, statistically. As Twisted Fate is going to be banned away, and we'll see what DAMWON are going to respond with. I think Galio bans make sense. Miru has definitely shown some decent Galio play, but they're going to just go through the tier list first. That's a smart ban.
Yeah. I think letting any of the top mid laners get Zoe right now is a little bit of a mistake. We saw BDD picking up Zoe yesterday, and I was just like, okay, well, on to the next one. The Ezreal does get banned. I do agree with you. I think that Galio does deserve a little bit of attention here. I'm just not sure if they're going to find a way to fit it in to the 3 bans that they have. We've been seeing so much first pick Volibear that now they're just first banning it on red side. They're like, actually, no, it's too strong. Let's just take that away.
Well, I think DAMWON are wondering whether or not they need to ban Karma. I would suggest it, personally, and then assume that Hanwha Life are going to pick something like Kalista, and then insta-lock Camille Galio and then win the game.
Yeah.
That could be a thing that you could do.
That's definitely a thing you can do. And it was like Karma probably first, and then Set, and then maybe Galio. Or Kalista for another ban to come in. And they might just actually ignore the Karma, which would be interesting. I think she's amazing because of her flexibility.
I don't think they necessarily need to prioritize it, as there's the Galio that we were talking about. So DAMWON have been a little bit denied. And we'll see whether DAMWON are going to be forced to pick a very early Camille, because the Camille Galio is just so incredibly powerful. See what they do. Nogri, of course, is very happy to blind pick Camille in almost any instance, as we could just pick a bottom lane here, and Ash Karma would be very strong.
Yeah, we're going to need a good bottom lane for the bottom combat that we have coming up.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm still thinking about that.
It's really good.
Such a good translation.
I'm going to write it down.
Well, yeah, Ash is pretty good in general. In terms of AD carries right now, I think the Camille is definitely something you could consider here.
Whoa, okay.
Maybe looking to counter mid lane right from the get-go and say, well, anything you can do, I can do better. Although it's not necessarily true with the Galio.
Felios, thinking about stacking up the years here just a little bit. We've seen in the laning phase, Ash definitely have a good time into the Aphelios. However, give him a bit of time, give him the right guns, and things can certainly go in the way of the Aphelios. Lee seem to be locked in, so we're going to ignore Camille completely. And it looks like Hanwha Life not really wanting to show face up their solo lanes, which does make some sense. Cad going to be on a pretty high priority jungler at the moment, no matter what your opinion of him is. And there's the Cassidy that you were talking about.
I think he's
going through his solo queue picks. Oh, come on.
Stop
Don't do this
doing
to
this
me.
to us, Showmaker.
Playing with my heart. Feral is the guy that started it, and this is the lane that a lot of teams have just been locking in. Team dynamics showing that it doesn't necessarily work out every time. However, we saw it yesterday, and it did perform very, very well.
Yeah, it definitely has a lot of potential. It's a pretty safe lane because of the Ashe, and then you add in Pantheon, who's a melee support, which can sometimes get bullied by some of the other supports, but because of his E ability, it kind of strips that away. So there's not many weaknesses, and then also, of course, the two of them work very well together in terms of engage. So I think that's part of the reason why we're seeing it become very popular right now, as it looks like we're going to try to take away some supports from the Hens. Not a bad idea.
The thing that I do like is if DAMWON instantly pick the Camille after this, you just steal away the heroic entrance, and then you're just a better version of Galio as you fall down, but you also get the man drop alongside it, which is just real dicey. Kennen would have also been great. DAMWON already have Sylas picked up for themselves, so you don't run into that potential counter pick. They decide that no Camille is to be played this game, noting that the Kennen ban could have been aimed at trying to gather that pick. We have seen Kennen lose the matchup to Camille, by the way. That has happened.
Oh, look who's coming out here, Mr. B4 Renekton.
Yeah, we are seeing it. Oh,
Question is DAMWON going to pick it first?
Is it going to be R4 or is it going to be B4? That's the question.
Oh, boy.
You have to R4 it before they can B4 it.
It's like the most obvious line of banning I've ever seen. Like,
yeah.
They're like, we are picking Renekton with a megaphone.
How do you feel about it?
Yeah.
We feel Rek'Sai about it. Rek'Sai, not a great win rate so far. Hasn't won a game yet on this patch. However, we've seen it banned a lot by teams that like to pick Lee Sin. And Canyon, of course, was known for a lot of Rek'Sai spamming. There it is. That's the B4 Renekton you were talking about.
Yeah. So Renekton gets picked up here, and both of these teams are just going face first into each other, which I think on paper, if you look at the Aphelios, obviously he gets a lot of value there, but we're going to have to wait and see how these drafts do finish themselves out before we consider which team has what strengths. Now they need a support to go with all of this.
Braum. Looking for some scaling here. Okay, so Braum going to be picked up alongside the Aphelios, just to try and keep people alive. We got shields and doors. Both of these supports actually pretty similar, to be honest. One focuses a little bit more on the CC. The other one just does a hell of a lot of damage. Nuggery's Jace, looking to come in to counteract the Renekton. You can't ban all the counters, as it turns out. And this would definitely be a comfortable one for Nuggery. He is going to lock that one in. Definitely isolated, a good choice. Don't know whether it really fits the composition fantastically well, but they do have some poke options. And certainly the long-range pick of the Ash arrow means that, you know, you soften them up with a shock blast, shoot them with an arrow, and everyone dives on top.
Yeah, it definitely looks like a really fun composition when you're ahead. And I think that DWG Gaming, just with how good they are, they're going to get ahead. And
yeah.
I think we're going to see a very feisty kind of game here. Unless Hanwha Life kind of pull the Janair where they go into their turtle shell and they say, well, we don't want to fight you. We have a Renekton, but we don't care about that. Hopefully Viper can carry us. Like the only times we've won yet is when Viper carries us. So maybe that will just be their strategy if they can get a really fed Aphelios in the late game. There is still hope for them. But again, we do have to take the team nameplates into account when we talk about all this stuff. But
yep, you were saying a lot of ifs, and I was hearing a lot of ifs about this particular composition. They definitely do have a lot of burliness. They've got some early to mid game insurance with the old Lee Sin, but Rek'Sai in the isolated matchup definitely does a whole lot better. And if you're talking about early game, that's where DAMWON certainly thrive. We'll see whether Showmaker can actually get some priority here this game. Melee versus melee in the mid lane does mean that Sylas is probably going to be absolutely fine. But the wave clear out of Galio certainly does eclipse that of the Sylas in the early stages. So we'll see whether Miru can actually keep him down, because keeping down Showmaker is certainly going to be the aim of the game here for Hanwha Life, and also a very tall order for a very new mid laner here for Hanwha Life Esports. But let's do it. Let's get into game one of our first match on our final day of Week 7.
Here we go. Welcome to the Rift. And there is a lot of responsibility on the shoulders of Miro, as you were mentioning. It's up against Showmaker. It's on his best champion, from what we can see, so he's got that going for him, but he's also the only AP damage on his team. So, you know, Galio's not necessarily somebody who's shelling out consistent AP damage, but he obviously is very good in the combo sense. But if you look at their team, they don't really have a lot of range. I mean, it's only Aphelios, and unless he's got that first gun, the Calibrum, I believe it is.
Indeed, the sniper gun, the Caitlyn gun.
Yeah, then you're going to be really short-ranged as a team. So the only time you're going to be able to attack the opponent is if they're all coming into you, or you are able to hard engage into them. But if you look on the other side, we got Jace and Ashe. I think that Ghost and Nuggery can do a fine job of keeping Hanwha Life at length.
Dude, he's just like, nah, I don't think I actually want to shoot this guy. I mean, I don't want to hit this guy. Not really what he wants. Chain Lash is starting here, as haven't checked in on the bottom lane just yet. I wanted to talk about some bottom combat. We didn't get to. Here we are. Bottom combat, ready for you guys.
We have supportal combat. We have bottom combat.
It's just a lot of combat.
Yeah.
Mortal combat, the thing that we talk about a lot of the time when nothing's happening. And having a look at the Ashe Pantheon win rates, certainly DAMWON are doing this one very, very well. 2-0, haven't lost very many games, of course. The Gen G also, I believe this was yesterday. They were able to bring it out and picking themselves up a win. It's Team Dynamics that are really fumbling it, and they're forcing it a lot so far.
Yeah.
Any other team seems to just be finding success with this lane duo.
Yeah, I think we need more stats, you know. I think it'll be interesting once we get into playoffs if this kind of combo really takes off and gets really popular, because then it's going to be, you know, more DAMWON DRX, DAMWON T1, or DRX Gen G, right, where it's really evenly matched teams. And it's not just DAMWON, you know, crushing bottom-level teams, as here we go.
Oh, gets in the way. Really beautiful stuff here as the Abduct is going to land, and Canyon going to grab that first blood. Emotes are blazing. And this one started pretty early, Valdez.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of CC that the Sylas and the Rek'Sai have together is pretty insane. And you can see that Canyon, that's a very fortunate time for that to pop up right as they pick up first blood. He's 10-2 on the pick of Rek'Sai, which is, of course, very common into the Lee Sin. But didn't even have to face off against Lee Sin and already picked up a kill. So things going pretty well for DAMWON already.
Yeah, real scary stuff. I love the use of the abscond by Showmaker to block the Justice Punches.
Beryl is...
He's never in his dang lane.
You knew this was coming.
Yeah, well, we'll see whether the abduct's going to land, and it will. There's the sun, and Miro going to get blocked one more time. That's a taunt, but you don't want to be taunting this team. Flash forward by Beryl, and that's the second one. Here at 4 minutes in. Oh god, this is not going to take long, is it?
That felt like solo queue, where the mid laner is like, oh, my jungler's right next to me. I can engage on this, right? And again, Miro didn't have any escape, so he's like, I'm going in. Hopefully my jungler helps. Cad moves to the left, it auto attacks the Scuttle Crab, he smites it, and then he comes like 5 seconds late, and it's like, well, that's not going to help out. And of course, you should expect this from Beryl. So. Going right to the beginning here. And Canyon he cleared all of his red side jungle and immediately came mid. That was all he was doing. And then this was the follow-up. Cad's like, no, I really need that Scuttle Crab right now. And then Beryl's like, well, I guess I'll just pick up the kill.
Yeah, needed to flash for that one, but you're right. Cad, a little bit late on the rotation. Haven't seen too much of Cad. Recently, it has been Haru that's been getting a lot of the limelight, but not exactly performing all that well with it. So Ghost gonna miss a bit of CS here. As that melee creep should help him. There we go. Nicely done. Tidies it up. Down by about 5 as, okay, Lehen's just going to have to push the unbreakable button after losing half of his health bar. Oh, that's a very nice sidestep there. Beryl, loving it.
Look at him, he's 1-0. He's already like confidently owning the lane by himself.
Yeah, also has a longsword. Gonna have that serrated Dirk pretty soon, and if he has that as DAMWON hit level 6, like the arrow comes out instantly and someone dies, right?
Oh, look,
it's gonna go.
Perfect counter gank timing from Canyon.
Well, here he goes, tunneling forward and trying to block Justice punches once again as Cad gonna get booped back and is probably going to die next. Sweeper brought out just to make sure that they can see where he's going, but looks like they're not going to chase any further, understanding that he is pretty slippery on this Lee Sin. Okay, never mind. Slowly but surely, here we go, and Cad thought, surely they're not going to come on over as Showmaker misses the chain. Canyon tunnels his way out, and Showmaker now trying to come through one more time. Preyseeker going to find Cad, but not do enough damage. And now DAMWON are going to transition this into a lot of denial here on the bottom side, potentially. See whether Lehens and Viper are going to get doped. That's a big minion wave. Looks like DAMWON, they're just going to try and go for a reset, utilize this opportunity, and not bite off more than they can chew. Some reserved play out of DAMWON.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I feel like DAMWON, at this point in the game, 6 minutes in, probably would most of the time just be diving bottom lane just because they're going to like pull off the perfect dive.
I mean, while we're here,
yeah,
you know.
That's kind of the way it felt in the mid lane too. It's like, who do we kill? I mean, we have our pick of the litter. We could just get both of them. Fortunately, they did spread their damage a little bit too much, and they let Cad get away, but it was just Canyon being there at the perfect timing.
It was really unfair as well, because Showmaker stole a kick that Cad didn't even have yet.
He's you know? 4. It's like,
so unfair.
Who's kicking, actually?
Yeah.
When I first saw it, I was very confused, and I'm like, oh, yeah.
He kicked, and it kicked the kicker as well. Like, oh, you don't kick the kicker. That's not very fair.
Yeah.
Man.
Should be against the rules.
Mm-hmm. And we did sort of have some bottom combat, but it wasn't actually in the lane, really. It was sort of behind the turret, so I don't think it's really included. So we're going to have a look at this replay once again. Take us through it here, Valdez.
Yeah. Well, Canyon is counter-ganking, it looks like, but he's actually able to get aggressive with it. And you can see they're like, oh, who do we kill? We kicked Cad, but Miro's here and he has no health and nothing, and he's 0-3 now. Guess we'll just take him. Oh.
Yeah, well, they're dead. Level 6, guys. That wasn't actually used to get that kill, but it was used to get this one, as that is just a 2-for-2 kill on the bottom side of the map by DAMWON. Guys, 2v2 kill. This is not supposed to happen in this lane. It's supposed to be DAMWON's weakness. Damn, Ghost and Beryl have been stepping up recently, man. That's why this team looks so scary.
Yeah. Beryl picked up a kill, and he's like, oh, we might have a little bit of an overextension here from Canyon.
Yep, Dudu gonna get booped back, and Canyon's just dead. So Cad there at the right time. And looks, it's a very DAMWON move.
Yeah, that's just him feeling it, you know?
Yeah.
He's just feeling it.
Well, he's going to give away Rift Herald most likely here, as Nogri's going to rotate down, but Lehens is already here. Dudu gets the inside track. And you can see DAMWON, I think they want it. And here's the man drop to bring Beryl on in. There's the hijacked ulti coming out from Showmaker as well. But the Galio is going to grab the kill onto Pantheon. And I think Showmaker might have overextended this one. Does flash his way out, but he is well and truly dead. No more Kingslayers for you. And right as we say how good DAMWON is, they decide to throw away some kills. HLE does reset. But, yeah, it's a pretty... yeah, some vintage DWG situations going on right here.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of tell by our casting that we feel like it's just so one-sided, and I think they're bringing that play into the game as well and getting very overconfident. This was just like a straight-up kill that I think they didn't even realize they were in range of. They're like, oh yeah, we're fine. Actually, no. Braum steps forward and just dies. Here, Canyon's like, well, I have zero vision of the enemy jungle. Lee Sin could be anywhere, but let me just go into the enemy jungle anyway. And then Rek'Sai's not here. You're fighting a 3v4. Nuguri doesn't have full health, full mana. Why are you forcing this? It's not necessary. And they even saw with the Hawkshot, too, how many people were there. They said, oh, 4 of them. Yeah, let's just go.
Yeah.
And I think they're just kind of off the hook right now. They're kind of just going a little bit too crazy, too aggressive. They gotta reel it back a little bit here.
Just a tad. They still do have a gold lead, but as you can see, that has been neutralized a little. Viper and the Hens back down here towards the bottom side, so HLE will be taken by DAMWON. See where Canyon's going to put that at the moment. Just going to go back and look for some shoes. Finds it. I wonder whether shoes help you go underground faster. I think so.
Some grip, I guess.
Oh, there's the flash kick. Immediate exhaust onto Ghost, who's just going to flash and die. Beryl doesn't lose anything from that one, but does lose his AD carry. Cad coming on over, and look at this guy. 3-0-1. He got a 500 gold shutdown by killing Showmaker earlier. Lee Sin's a big deal. That's the flash from Beryl, though. Praise Seeker and the Void Rush will mean a deadly sin. I'm caster cursing so bad this week, by the way. As Nuguri's going to find a Crocodile, but he also finds a Gargoyle, and he doesn't want both of them. As he disappears, as Miru comes in. Dudu flashes on over as well. Nuguri very slow, but has an acceleration gate. As he's trying to turn this one, but he's still going to die. So uses a lot, but does get the flash out of Dudu. Turret plate's coming on in here for Showmaker, and I believe he's even going to get the assistance of HLE as well. So it is some extra money now available for the DAMWON mid laner. There she goes, and 160, not bad there for Showmaker.
It almost looked like he wanted to give all of it over to Canyon with how fast he was trying to run away from the plates, but this is really clean. I mean, you got to hand it to Cad. He was getting just absolutely out-jungled in the first 5 minutes of the game. I mean, he was just getting destroyed.
Yeah.
So for him to turn it around real quick and to capitalize on DAMWON's mistakes. But then, unfortunately, he kind of does a similar thing to what Canyon did, and he said, well, you know, Rek'Sai could be anywhere, but let me just run into the enemy jungle here, and he absolutely got punished for it. I was curious to see how this one started. It's kind of just Nuguri things. Didn't realize he had a ward behind him and got a little bit too aggressive and eventually gets punished for it.
Yep, and also uses his flash here. Buys a bit of time, which is why Showmaker was able to get a whole bunch of turret plates, and Canyon went over, got him even more. And that will sort of open up the game. Only one more plate remaining in the mid lane. Minute and a half before those are going to fall down. And Canyon, you can see, yeah, certainly has been accelerated here. Black Cleaver on the way. Well and truly. And it is still 700 gold in the lead of the Fed Lee Sin, which is pretty crazy. Only Dudu actually ahead of his lane opposition, and you can see why. Nuguri just going to guess where Cad was going to be. But as you can see, he's going to have that minion wave denied, and the dragon is just going to be what they gather as Beryl. He's just going to join in just to make sure that Nuguri isn't going to be too far behind as far as experience. And this is what you can do. I mean, you can just press that ultimate button, make sure that the man disadvantage goes away, and you can sort of patch up any problems. Also, gives Beryl an opportunity to, once again, just ruin his bottom lane duo proxy.
Yeah, that's his main goal.
Yeah, that is his main goal.
He's trying to make support actually a roaming role. Going back to, like,
Pike.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a great Bard player and a good Pike player. So, you know, Pike and Bard don't really want to be in the lane.
Yeah,
so,
Pantheon too. You know, he's got the perfect mentality for that kind of support.
Stunning. Infinity Edge done here for Viper. He rushed it. Some brown bags and a really sweet sword. I feel like it's like a guy that owns a Maserati, but, you know, he's wearing Crocs while he's inside it. Here's a heroic entrance to stop that terrible joke. Nogri is going to be dead again. This Cad's going to safeguard forward.
For the assist.
And he's running to the wrong turret. And, yeah, Nogri is well and truly dead. Yeah, he does.
With the safeguard. He's like, okay, I did my job.
See you guys.
I got some gold. That's good enough for me.
But remember, 0-2 power spike for Nogri. He's back there. He hasn't been dying that much recently, so probably very happy that this one's happening. As Beryl going to catch out Lehens. Showmaker is going to join him as Ghost is going to move on up into the jungle as well. It's pretty dark in here, but not actually going to find any members of Hanwha Life. It's so strange, though, because DAMWON are still just passively getting further and further ahead. As turret plates fall, and DAMWON do get double the value out of those, but it's not exactly a crazy amount of advantage. First turret gold certainly going to be helping here. But, you know, Hanwha Life going to be happy to scale, unless you look at the top side of the map. They're not very happy to scale, but as soon as you see a Felios Braum, it is certainly a scary prospect getting towards a late game.
Yeah. And we have been seeing some Godzillas coming out here. And,
that's true.
In the LCK and in other regions, of course, where Renekton is more played. Where he gets fed and he gets really tanky and actually does a nice amount of damage in the back line. It's just kind of cookie cutter. I think Nuggery has to play a little bit more safely. I know a lot of other top laners probably would have just been hiding under their turret with Galio missing in the mid lane. And unfortunately, he does not. But as you mentioned, he hits his power spike. He's at 0-2. He's got a tier building up. You got to be checking that clock when you're looking at Nuggery here.
Exactly, exactly. 0-2 power spike. This is when he gets all of the power. But 2-0-3 for Dudu. Like, this he's a big croc. You're right. Talking about those Godzillas, I believe it was Smeb that was the true Godzilla a couple of days ago. It was real scary. It's going to be a bit of a tanky build here from Dudu. I believe Death Dance going to be coming in as second item alongside his already completed Black Cleaver. It's a lot of cooldown reduction and damage plus safety. Love the build. Viper not going to find that Q. DAMWON just pushing here towards the bottom side. Beryl, of course, is going to leave the lane now. Spent way too long with Ghost. This Cad's going to be spotted by the Hawkshot. A lot of extra value that Ashe gives you as far as vision, especially when it's used alongside Rek'Sai. I mean, DAMWON are going to know way more than they should in this game.
Yeah.
With those abilities.
Even with Beryl all over the map, it's just kind of like the human ward that's also spotting so much, you know? It's a lot of forwardness and scouting out and seeing exactly where your opponent is, trying to stay one step ahead of the Galio, and the way that Hanwha Life can engage will be very important. And the later stages of the game, you know, we were thinking about scaling. I think that when you just look at DAMWON's comp, they, on paper, don't have much, but I think the Ashe gains so much value because of the lack of range that Hanwha Life do have. It is going to be a bit of Viper versus Ghost once it does come down to a really late stage game. I think that DAMWON were kind of just hoping to stomp them early enough so that they didn't have to think about it too much, but now, I mean, it's relatively even, right? I mean, DAMWON are still in the lead, of course, with their two Drakes, and Mountain Drake coming up here is going to be very important to try to deny from the BP boys of Hanwha Life. So we'll see if they can do it.
Yep. Earth, Wind, and Fire will be what's coming in here today as far as our Dragons. So Mountain Drake will certainly help. Not the greatest one that DAMWON really want. Probably would have liked just Infernal Soul, to be perfectly honest, because it's DAMWON. But this will, like you say, give them some of that extra tankiness, and they do need to deny as many Mountain Drakes as possible. There's a lot of lethality on DAMWON's side in the form of Noggery and Beryl. As Braceaker comes in, Hanwha Life now in good position around this Drake. Showmaker just a little bit late to the party, as Hanwha Life now looking for a team fight. See what they are going to be able to do here. Showmaker is seen. Winterspite is going to connect as well as Beryl dives on forward. There's the heroic entrance. Actually interrupts the Justice Punch. And Mira has to flash to get out. Protobelt there as well as he presses his R button. And now Canyon's in trouble. Does he have ult in time? And the answer is no, he'd already used it. But they're going to trade 1-for-1. Showmaker comes down. The chains obliterate Hanwha Life, a triple kill instantly. And now the Crocodile is running for the hills. He doesn't want those chains put on him. Please, no. I'm not a domesticated animal. He is going to run towards the enemy
Look
base.
at Beryl, he's trying to get the kill.
He goes down by his own terms. And DAMWON will claim Soul Point.
Man, the amount of AoE damage that was coming in there from both the Sylas, but also the Jace. I mean, Nuguri almost got 5,000 damage in that fight, and Hanwha Life just not spread up enough against what DAMWON have here, so we're going to see that DAMWON never scared to engage, of course. They say, we got the combo, they're all grouped up. They were able to split there, but then you see Miru get very, very low. Watch this, the Rek'Sai ultimate damage gets denied by Galio in midair, which is kind of interesting. Never saw that before. And then look at this, all four of them are on top of each other. Oh, what's going on?
God.
You can't do that against Sylas Jace.
Yeah.
I think they would have been okay in that fight if they just spread out. They still would have been, you know, having trouble against Ashe, but because they did that, it kind of just all went in the dumpster.
야, 잘 들어갔다 나. 갈려부터. 갈려 필.
Galio. Get Galio.
잡았어.
Got him.
레넥 보자. 들어갈게.
Oh my god.
나이스.
I think he killed Cad with a Luden's proc. As there's the Void Rush. A lot of distance there for Canyon, who then goes underground, now considers trying to kill a Gargoyle as well as Miru. He's running away. He's not going to get far. Beryl throws a stick at him, and he is going to be dead. 6,000 gold to lead DAMWON. He took this game from very close to very far for Hanwha Life in a blink of an eye. Showmaker has his cool book. There are a few books in the shop, guys. There's a cheap book, there's a bad book, and this is the classy book.
The legendary book.
Yep.
Where you read about myths.
Yep.
And legends of days past on the Rift.
This is the book Showmaker's just reading about himself in it.
Yeah.
As
Pretty much.
Lahen's going to get stunned up. He's going to stand beside Cad, who decides that he wants to go in to get his Aphelios murdered. That was not necessarily the best maneuver, but he does manage to sidestep the abduct. Lahen's now should be able to get underneath his turret, but I don't know whether that is going to be safety enough here, as, yeah, it definitely is not, as Rek'Sai is going to yell very, very loud, and now Cad's going to be denied getting out of his base. The spear not going to connect. DAMWON will be able to get rid of this inner turret, and Valdez, I think this game might be over.
It is. It's over. It just devolved so fast. All DAMWON needed, you know, they made some very cocky mistakes in the early game where you're like, okay, DAMWON, come on.
Yeah.
Really? You know, this is not what you have to do to beat this team. But then all they needed was one good team fight, and all of a sudden they're 10,000 gold ahead. It's like,
yeah.
Now everybody on the side of Hanwha Life, everybody's just, it's almost like, you know, they sent out a wolf into the sheep flock, and everybody's just scattering, and a stampede starts. Everybody's getting caught out here. Dudu's alone.
Dudu just...
Beryl comes in, and then it teleports. It's channeled so late, and also there's 4 members of DAMWON, and then you're like, okay, yeah, 5 on 3, and then not 30 seconds later, Hanwha Life are like, yeah, let's fight.
And look at Viper. He's like, I've got the short range guns. There's Macalibrum. Never mind, I'm dead.
Yeah.
As Cad kicks Showmaker into him.
This just should have never even been in there, you know? It's like Hens is like, let me just get some vision 3v5.
I've never seen Rek'Sai in the summer split look this good, actually. I don't think we have. We've only ever really seen trap Rek'Sai picks that haven't been able to get enough done in the early game. But look at him, he's 64 CS ahead, 5-2 and 5. He's got an edge of 9, for goodness sake.
Yeah. That really scary. He's a different breed, especially when you show the comparison.
Yeah.
Cad looked pretty, you know, he was okay when he first came out, but I think slowly he's kind of...
Oh dear. Well, Arrow connects onto Lahen's. He puts his door up in an odd direction, but is going to survive. Utilizing his flash. Because Viper does still have a CS lead as of right now. So that's about the good news that I could find for Hanwha Life. Let's go back to talking about DAMWON, shall we? Is Dudu. He's going to get discovered.
Yeah.
Beryl not going to find that spear. Now Cad's looking for it. Tries to get in amongst this one as the heroic entrance not going to do anything at all. And now all 5 members of Hanwha Life are grouped up. And I think DAMWON are looking at them like they're just a pentakill waiting to happen.
We saw one on the match points was a fox in polar bear's clothing. That was referring to the Korean meme for Canyon where they call him a polar bear. It's kind of like all 5 members are like fox.
Well, they're going to dive onto Noguri. There's the heroic entrance coming through from Showmaker, who's going to turn up. Noguri grabs the kill, doesn't die. The Ignite's going to tick down, and he will survive. The AoE damage not going to be enough. Beryl did bite the dust. Noguri's going to be able to teleport back in if he wants to, though, as here's the rest of the kills. Showmaker grabs the turret, Ghost grabs the kills. The Chain Lash is doing way more than any Chain Lash I've really seen coming out of Showmaker here, and this might just be the end of the game. It's only Cad left alive, and the death timers are pretty decent. 15 seconds onto Dudu. This is at least an inhibitor and some Nexus turrets.
They're going to go for it for sure. There's not much that Lee Sin can do against these minions.
Yep. Sort of seems a little bit like a minion at this stage as Showmaker is going to flash on forward. Chains are going to come down and bind him to the death chamber as Dudu, he's just going to get slapped around. Goes golden.
Just
very pretty
croc.
Yeah, I know, it's just insane. 7-1-7 now for Showmaker, who does have the best KDA in the league at the moment, so you may as well just try and get some more kills. Noguri going to steal that one away from him. He's extraordinarily low, as they've decided they want to kill all of them as they're coming in before anything happens, as Noguri gets the most valuable 50 gold in the game, and DAMWON complete their style fest. That was game 1 against Hanwha Live Esports.
Yeah, well, that was about as much of a stomp as you could expect, of course, between DAMWON and Hanwha Life. And that was only game 1. Yeah. They were just toying with their food. It kind of looks like my cat when she finds a dead bug on the floor. It's like, yeah, I'm just going to play with this thing and then maybe, you know, lick it up and eat it a little bit later on. And that's what happens when DAMWON plays against some of these lower-level teams. They can pretty much draft whatever they want, and they can get aggressive. They can draft basically no scaling and just dumpster you, and it just does not matter because they are that good.
How does Showmaker's Silas do way more than everybody else's Silas as well? That's what I want to know. I kind of thought Silas was like a trap pick, and then Showmaker just decided that it was just always going to be amazing. As we'll see how Valdez starts off the day when it comes to the POG votes.
I'm confident in this one.
Yep. Wadid had a really good day yesterday, so you got a lot on your shoulders here. So We'll see what is going to happen. We'll keep your breath bated as to what he did choose. And we'll come back after the break and check it out during that analyst segment. But damn, man. I think that if you're an SKT of 2015 fan, I'd start sweating.
Yeah.
This DAMWON doesn't look like they're going to be losing anytime soon.
Yeah, especially not against Hanwha Life.
That's right.
We'll have to see how they do against Genji and T1 later on in the round, but it's hard not to get hyped about DAMWON. I think people were hyped for them the first time when they were known as the Scrim Gods and they were going to Worlds, and it was like, oh, wow. You know? But this time feels different. It does feel like they've kind of reached an upper echelon, a new level, if you will. And we'll see just how untouchable they can get and how far we can ride this DAMWON train.
And look at what the 0-2 power spike does, ladies and gentlemen. It doubles your damage. That's basically how that one works.
Yeah.
I think he ended the game as like 1, 2, and
9 or something.
9, yeah, something ridiculous like that. He dies 2 times, then they get that Drake fight and they win the game. So, guys, it's not a joke. The 0-2 power spike exists. It's real, and you should respect it. That goes for the other LCK teams as well. Guys, we are going to take a short break. When we get back, Game 2.
아 미드터 이거 아예 갈려 아 사이드
아 바텀 뭐라고 바텀.
아 사이드 공 있다니까 미드 박아 쳐
오케이 오케이.
이거 좀 야, 거듭해. 맞을게.
아 플래시 한번
앞에 거 앞에 레.
나 죽었어 얘 노정아
앞에 내려와.
텔대
어우.
앞에 노정아
타워. 에랭 노플. 타워 쳐볼래, 이번에?
나 집가가 텔대
야 보다.
앞에 노정아
안녕하세요. 아, 욕 먹으러 갈까?
야 끝내자 미드.
미드 가자, 미드.
그다음 끝나.
미는 거 개빠르. 탑에서 실수했네. 크긴 했다. 좀 크다, 이거.
나 공볼게. 볼게.
내 노플. 타워.
타워.
쟤공 돌았나 보다
야 넥서스 야 타. 악어.
앞에. 에, 잡자. 오, 얘까지. 다 잡아. 진짜 잡아. 아! 더비.